Yo, 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 what's up, everyone? It's time for Spoiler Alert. Here we are, the show that may or may not spoil your favorite topic, depending on when you're tuning in. So please listen at your own risk. Either way, here's a spoiler alert to start off your day. Laughter and good times are definitely on their way. Don't forget to hit that follow button on Twitch. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Our show airs live every Monday at 8:30. This is episode 8 for us. So I'm excited to hit that big number 10. We're going to have to do something special for that one. Also, follow us on Twitter as well as YouTube. Our handle for both is at Spoiler Alert for You. That's at Spoiler Alert, the number 4, the number U. My name is Justin Time, your host. And spoiler alert, Time is not actually my last name, but it would be cool if it was, right?
What up, everyone? My name is Scante. It is pronounced Scante and not Scanty. Spoiler alert for me tonight. I am basically going to be the next Ungbok the Thai Warrior because my little bro, 5 a.m., I don't know if he's in the chat or not, took me to a Muay Thai class this weekend.
Oh, man.
And I was slinging them kicks, bro.
Did you have fun? Yeah, it sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah, no, it was a fucking blast. It was really, really fun.
Are you thinking about like joining like some type of like class like that here in Charlotte?
I've thought about it. Yeah, they said I could drop in there back home. Obviously, like can't like be a member there, but I've already started looking up gyms here in Charlotte. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, I took karate when I was. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was about to say, didn't we predict this like 3 episodes ago when we reviewed Creed that that motherfucking Nick was gonna start
we did.
fighting and shit?
We did. We absolutely did.
That may be part of it.
I took karate when I was like really, really young, like elementary school or some shit. And I like always loved it. I know Muay Thai and karate are not the same thing. I'm just saying. I took a karate class. And I honestly would be interested in doing that myself. I'm like, I've always thought that was super cool and it's like a great workout. So if you do decide to like, officially join something, let me know. I might be interested in joining with you, man.
All right, for sure. Yeah, it was a workout. It had me sweating at like 8 a.m., bro. I was like,
good
I'm
stuff.
all good. I don't want no parts of that because I don't want to get my ass beat.
Hey, man, you sling some kicks around, get a little sweat going. It's no big deal.
There you go.
I get it, man. Hey, man. Hey, look, man. Without further ado, it's your boy Big Black, and you know what it is. I'm big and I'm black, and I don't know, man. I just feel like I would get my ass beat like on the reg if I went to that class. Like I'm like 330 pounds, and I feel like somebody can just lift me and like toss me across the damn room.
Ryan, how tall are you?
Like a punk, huh?
How tall are you?
6'5".
You're 6'5", 300 and some pounds, like, and
Ain't
as you
nobody
said,
tossing
you're
you
big and
anywhere.
you're black. Like nobody's fucking with
Okay.
you, bro. I'm sorry. Honestly, if they see a big black dude walking there and is about to practice like some type of Muay Thai shit, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be quite scared of your capabilities. I don't think you have to worry about that.
All right, okay. That motherfucking Nick gonna come out of nowhere and just hit like a judo kick to my knee.
And
They
a
know how to
ninja
take big people out, though.
And a
Judy chop.
That's who I want to take classes with, my man.
You remember rule number 1?
What is rule number 1?
Don't go ninja. Nobody don't need
ninja. Love those videos. Oh man. Well, thanks everybody for introducing yourselves. Happy Easter to everyone. I know yesterday was Easter. Got to spend some time with family and stuff, but it was making me think. I was seeing a whole bunch of people on Facebook, like, posting their like church fits, and everybody, you got to get the fresh suit or the fresh dress for Easter and going to church. And it just made me think, like, do you guys have, like, I know we were all in church at some point when we were like younger. Do you guys have any like funny church stories that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yep, I got you. Oh,
for it.
Mount
All right.
Sinai and Eden, North Cackalack.
Nah, that was my church too.
Hey, yeah, bro. I remember going one time with my folks, and I pissed myself in the car, right in the parking lot. And guess who had to sit through a 2-hour sermon?
They didn't.
Yes,
no, they
bruh.
didn't make you go to church pissy, bro. No,
bruh, yes,
dude, that's so
yes,
sad.
yes,
I'm upset.
yes.
They should have done that. They should have took you home.
I
That's
mean,
embarrassing.
I mean, like it was my grandma, so it was like I was like,
How old were you? Like, have like a diaper?
6 maybe. I think I was
so
6.
no diaper.
Man,
Yeah, it was
I
like
can
6
just-
or 7 or something like that.
I can just imagine people in the pews next to you being like, "What the hell is that smell?" And then being like, "The devil!" To pay attention.
Yeah, I've been to a black church before, and those sermons are never ending.
No, facts. You go in there on like
Hella
11 on Sunday, and you do not get out until like 4 p.m. that following Monday. So there are probably some
Then you
people.
go in the basement and they
Yeah.
bought buckets of chicken from KFC. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
just serving chicken and potatoes and
Oh
all
yeah,
that, dog.
there's probably some black folks who are just getting out of church now from Easter Sunday, as a matter of fact, just in time to tune in for the show. I remember going to a white church one time. This is my story. Went with some of my friends. I want to say I was in elementary school, but it may have been middle school. And I think it was during Halloween, and this was like Southern Baptist, like white. So, this shit was extreme. But they put on like this Halloween like play, basically where the fucking devil like came in and like kidnapped these kids, and it was like all about like sin and like going to hell. When I tell you this is the most fucking traumatic like shit that happened to me as like a middle school child, like the devil just walking down the aisles like screaming at kids and shit. It was fucking wild. Like, and then I just remember excuse me, at the end, they basically were just like, well, if you're bathed in the blood of Jesus, you got nothing to worry about. And I was just like, what? It was wild. I'll never forget that shit. It was fucking crazy. But that's like my memory of like going to a white church. It was like fucking dramatic for me.
Yeah, dude, white churches are something else. I grew up Southern Baptist too, like Sunday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, like in church all the time. And yeah, they did some cringy shit.
Yeah.
But the only funny one that I could really think of, not the only one, there's plenty, but the one that always comes to mind is I was in this Christmas play at our church growing up, and we practiced for like weeks for this shit. Like I had one line, and all I had to say, and all I had to say was, "I am the star that shines so bright." That was it. We were like all going through a line, like saying stuff. My little brother, who played the actual star, he was wearing the star costume. He's like 6 years younger than me. He was super shy. He wouldn't say anything. Wouldn't say a word. Okay, whatever. So he's just gonna dress up in a star and stand in front of me. That was his only job. And man, it like comes play night. It's like Christmas Eve. Going down the line, everybody's saying their lines. I'm like getting ready. I'm all nervous and stuff. And it gets to me, and I open my mouth, and my little brother, "I'm the star that shines." He just stole my fucking thunder, dude, in front of the whole church.
Oh man,
so
he
mad at
stole
him.
your time to shine, literally and figuratively.
And that's an ongoing joke in my family. But
Oh man.
yeah, I mean, you're right. We've got some things going on in the chat here. Elroy says, "Gotta love black people." Despair says, "Korean churches are also never ending."
Oh, I've
So
never
that
been
is
to a
pretty
Korean
interesting.
church. I would
Yeah.
love to do that.
I bet it's very interesting. She'll probably take you. Roxy says, "White churches be quick. Black churches are never ending." Dude, if it's
That's true.
noon in a Baptist church, people are looking at their watches and looking at the preacher like, "Sir, we have places to be.
That's
I need
true.
You to wrap it up."
This Devil Halloween play that I went to, as traumatic as it was, I will give it to them. They did that shit in like 30 minutes and got us the hell up out of there, bro.
In and out,
it was super quick, so I have to give them compliments there. Good
Y'all better
stuff.
start
Good
watching
stuff.
y'all's church on YouTube, dog. I'm telling you, you can end it when you want to, pause it when you want to, dog.
That's
I'm
true.
telling you.
That's true. Technology, man. I know a lot of people started doing that during like the pandemic, because you couldn't like do mass gatherings and stuff. So a lot of churches started doing like online videos and stuff. So pretty cool. All right, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So everybody knows what's coming. We usually like to start our show off with spoiled news, just updating you on some different things going on in the world. So I will kick it off. First things first, I know we had a couple people ask if we were reviewing Super Mario Bros., the movie this week. That review will be coming next week. We unfortunately, just due to some timing with the Easter weekend and everything, did not get a chance to go see it. But we will be going to see it this week, and then we'll definitely be bringing you the review of that movie next week. So be on the lookout for that. I saw my man Elroy already put something in the chat about this, but just wanted to make an announcement for all our anime fans out there. The new season of Demon Slayer just dropped. Elroy said that the episode is fire, which is interesting to me because I thought that this episode was just going to be Ryan, what you and I went to see that movie for, the last time we went to the movies, and it wasn't that good. It was like any typical Demon Slayer opening season, which is kind of boring. So
Was it the same episode?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, so I got to watch it to see because Elroy said it's fire. So I'm wondering if it's different and something exciting happened. So we'll see. I'll maybe report back on that next week. And then lastly, just wanted to mention, because we talked about this in depth last week, we did a deep dive into Chat GTP. Oddly enough, at work this week, I'm not going to call out where I work, but we actually had a conversation about that at work as well. And the technology team at my job is looking into leveraging Chat GPT technology for the company. And apparently there are a lot of companies out there that are talking about it. The capacity that they were looking to use it in was like as a search function, because apparently like you can ask Chat GPT to like find this within like a bunch of code and shit, and it'll take you right to what you need to look for. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I just thought it was super interesting, that we were asking it like random crazy ass questions, and here this company is like, hey, we could use this to make our business perform better. So it'll be interesting to see what people do with Chat GTP in the future. But those are all my
They're
updates.
like chicken wings.
Exactly. All right, good stuff. Nick, what you got?
All right. So some semi-big news. I think some of you will be excited about this. PlayStation is actually announced that they are in the works for a new handheld console. For those of you who are fans of the PSP or the PS Vita, a little bit of a cult following in those, but still, very successful in their own right. So it is going to be another handheld console. It will play PS5 games. And it's going to have, I think they said, an 8-inch screen, 1080p resolution, 60 frames per second. So pretty impressive. Downsides, it's going to need a constant internet connection to function because you will, what did it say? It says you will need to, I think, be using the, what's the streaming feature?
Remote play
PS5
feature?
Remote Play.
Yeah.
It uses Remote Play. So I guess it's not actually processing on the handheld itself. It's processing on the console and it's streaming to the handheld. So we'll see how much that handicaps it. I think it kind of defeats the purpose if you can't play it like on road trips or an airplane or something like that. Probably a little bit frustrating, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Let's see if there is any date here.
They, like,
I don't
just
think there's any kind of a date for when we're going to know more right now.
Yeah.
But it will come out before the PS5 Pro. We know that much.
I'm super excited for it, and for the reason that you mentioned specifically with the PS5 remote play. So right now, you can leave your PS5, at your house, and you can travel to a friend's house, out of town, whatever. You can have a laptop. I think you can even do it from your phone or any other type of system. You basically download the remote play app. You can remote into your system now, and as long as you have like some type of like gaming controller, PS5 controller with you, you can play games from your PlayStation wherever you are. This is basically their like handheld version of that, and they're saying like, now you can always play on the go. With that, asterisk of you got to be connected to the internet. I don't necessarily like that idea. I get why they're doing it though. If they're specifically just focusing on the PS5 remote play, it makes sense because you need an internet connection to do that. My two biggest concerns with this are, one, what's the price going to be? Because we already know with the PS VR 2, it's outrageously expensive. This better not be that expensive for what they're offering, because like you said, it's not its own thing where they're going to be coming out with a separate game. So it's basically a companion to your PS5. And then the third thing is, right now the remote play, it's still in its infancy and it's not the best. Like, it can be very laggy. Sometimes when you have like a bad internet connection, or not even a bad internet connection, your internet speed just slows down. It will like significantly downgrade the graphics sometimes to where it is almost unplayable. So if they're gonna release this system, this handheld system, and charge people money for it, I think they've got to enhance the remote play feature, and it basically needs to be like, oh, you're basically playing your PS5 just from a handheld system. So I think if they fix that issue and then they make it an affordable price, then I think it could be well worth the money spent on it. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that PlayStation continues to do this. They kind of continue to go this Apple route where they're trying to create this like ecosystem of like PlayStation only devices. And it's like, I guess they're threatened by Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard and Activision and like all these big companies, and they're worried about their access to games and being driven out of the market. But I don't think this is the play, to be honest, especially when you're making your accessories more expensive than the fucking console itself.
I
It's
agree
just-
with that
it's
for
not gonna
sure.
work.
For sure, yeah. It
For
should. It,
sure.
it doesn't need to be that expensive, like honestly, because it's almost just like a streaming device. Like you're just gonna be streaming games from your PS5 to this console. So like I'm thinking 150, $200 tops. Like don't make it any more expensive than that. So
But that's why I don't understand it. Like, why don't you just go ahead and make another PlayStation Vita or something like that? Like
because
with
it's expensive.
cartridges or
It's
PSP.
expensive. It's expensive because then they would have to basically have these games that are just designed for that particular system. With this, you're just playing PlayStation 5 games already. Like the game's already there. You just are streaming it from your system. So it would be much more expensive for them to do something like that. And you think about the hardware capabilities that it would have to have now. Like people are going to want to play in 4K. Like it would be super expensive for them to create a handheld like they did with the Vita.
Yeah, agreed.
I get it.
So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. On a lighter note, I just have a funny video of a Twitch streamer. I've never watched her before. I actually don't even remember what her name is, but she was playing Hitman for hours and hours, and her cat just went full cat mode and walks across the keyboard and deletes her whole fucking game.
No.
Are you wait?
This
Are
is
you sure this
why-
wasn't staged? Because that sounds like it would have been staged.
It could
I
be,
know.
it
I
could
don't know,
be,
bro.
but we'll see.
I've been in like work meetings and cats have like just gone bananas over top of people's keyboards and stuff. So
But miraculously just hit the buttons to delete the whole thing.
You'll see it.
I mean,
You'll see it.
Let's see what we got.
Let her suffer? On how to murder? No?
See, that was fast.
Oh, he didn't delete the game. He just exited out of the game. So it didn't
Exited, but
yeah.
I don't think she saved. I think the
So
issue
it
was
did,
she'd been playing for hours and like didn't save.
and it deleted the progress. She looks super stressed too.
Look at the cat just staring at her like, "What, mom? What's wrong?"
Oh,
Momo! Get out! Momo! Shut up!
oh man, she's
Bro,
upset.
she hot, bro. She mad as hell.
He literally just stepped on my escape key and hit enter.
Oh man. Hey man, pets be petting.
Yeah, it's gonna cat. Yeah, exactly.
Cat's gonna cat. Good stuff. All right, Ryan, what you got for us, big dog?
I'm gonna keep it short and simple, man. I got Ahsoka. I got the trailer, and
Okay.
I want everybody to look at it because I think it's awesome.
I'm excited. I haven't watched the trailer yet, so I'm excited for it.
Well, shit's sick. Trust me.
Ahsoka's
Oh,
one of
yeah,
my
I'm not
favorite,
prepared.
like,
Trust
Jedi.
and believe. By the way, I just want to look at the chat right quick. We're gonna talk about this Beast Boy because I got something for that. It's cool. Don't worry about that.
And everyone, we know that the audio is still low on videos. We're trying to work on it. Just
Yeah.
bear with us for the time being. Turn up your volume a little bit if you want to hear the video, but we'll work on fixing it.
Something's coming. Something dark.
Yo, that was sick.
No, tell me that shit won't stick, bro.
This is a new beginning. For some, war.
oh, Hera's in this?
Power.
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return
Oh, shit.
as heir to the Empire. We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
I'm gonna say I'm actually pretty hyped for that.
Okay, so where does this fall in the timeline of all the Star Wars stuff?
So
If I'm not mistaken, this is after 3. This is off the Clone Wars, isn't it, Jay?
this is after the Clone Wars. Because
Hmm.
Ahsoka, this is yes, this is set after Anakin takes a turn for the dark side because Ahsoka was his apprentice. So I would say for this, if you're interested in the show, which you should be because Ahsoka's character is awesome. For one, you definitely should watch Star Wars Rebels because this basically picks up right where that animated series leaves off. A lot of the characters that they were showing there, like Thrawn, Sabine, Hera, they are very much the main characters of the Star Wars Rebels show, and it was pretty good. And then secondly, if you have time, you should watch all 8 seasons of Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Also a phenomenal show, and that show is what introduces Ahsoka's character, where she's basically a Padawan training up under Anakin. And you'll find out like her backstory and all of those things. But again, that's 8 seasons, so that's a lot to commit to. Star Wars Rebels was only 2 seasons, I believe, and it'll give you kind of what you need to know for this story. But I am pretty excited about it. She is one of my favorite like Jedi characters, and we're actually going to talk about Star Wars in general later on in the show because there was a lot that was announced at the Star Wars Celebration Day. But this trailer was dope. I really liked it. Like it was simple. There wasn't a lot to it, but it definitely has me intrigued.
So you know how some trailers like somehow or another spoil the story, like almost like there's some trailers that are just like, man, what the hell, dude? I can't believe I know what's gonna happen at the end anyway, but now I can see what's gonna happen. Like this didn't do that, and that's why I was pretty excited. Like I don't see a story. I still have to watch it to get the story, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, the end of Rebels is pretty like significant like in the Star Wars universe. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and then I even know like they introduced like Ahsoka's character in The Mandalorian. She made a brief appearance in a couple of episodes there to set up for her show, and they mentioned briefly kind of what I think the show is going to be about, and I'm like super excited about it because we're gonna probably get to see some cool characters and stuff make some appearances. So pretty good stuff there.
Good deal.
Awesome.
I mean,
Well,
they seem to be killing it with all their Star Wars stuff anyway lately.
everything but
like-
the movies. So, but we'll
Yeah,
get to that.
yeah, except for the movie.
Right.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for sharing. Was that your only topic, Big Dog?
Yeah, that was it, man. I was
Cool.
just super excited for it because I saw it and I was like, So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Well, I think we will use that as a segue into what my main topic is, which is Star Wars and the big Star Wars celebration. Do we have any? Let's check the chat before I kind of dive into everything that was announced for Star Wars Celebration Day.
Not a ton. I mean, Despair said that the cat is actually on this girl's TikTok and is very cute, and the cat's name's Momo. Beast Boy says, I'm pretty sure they made more, I think that was when you were talking about Rebels. That was pretty recent that he said that.
Okay.
I'm not-
Yeah. I think Rebels was 2 seasons, and then it might have been 3. And then I know the Clone Wars was like 8 or 9 seasons. So somewhere around in there. Easily be able to Google it and figure it out. I'm sure there's also probably like an explanation of the timelines and stuff if you want to like get caught up. But let's talk a little bit about Star Wars. So that trailer actually premiered during the Star Wars Celebration Day. And they basically gave us like a bunch of content that they're about to release over the next few years or so. So first and foremost, we're getting 3 new movies, with one of them specifically going to be focused around Rey. So if you know who Rey is, Daisy Ridley played her in the most recent 3 movies, which were 7, 8, and 9. Most people are not the biggest fans of those movies. I think her character overall was like reviewed well. I don't think people really had issues with her character, more so had issues with just the plot and the overall execution of those movies. But in this one, it will apparently be set 15 years in the future. She will be a Jedi Master, and she will be starting a new Jedi Order. So I am super excited for that. Hopefully they do this well, because I think this is an awesome time for them to reinsert the Jedi and just like bring that, just like what people like amazing, like take your breath away, like lightsaber duels and all of that shit. I think this is an awesome time for them to bring it back. The sequel game to Star Wars Fallen Order is coming out later this month. I am personally super excited about this because the first game was phenomenal, and I am really excited to play the second one, and we'll definitely be bringing a game review on that later on after I dive into it. As Ryan mentioned, the Ahsoka TV series got the trailer dropped. Super excited for that. And then there's some content out right now that's still going strong. The Mandalorian is in season 3. I'm watching that myself, and it's awesome. I freaking love that show. The Bad Batch just wrapped up season 2, and we'll be getting a season 3, which will be the final season. Pretty excited for that. So bunch of new content coming out, but really wanted to get you guys' thoughts, and would love people in the chat to comment as well. But what are your thoughts on the overall kind of current state of Star Wars?
Star Wars is everywhere to me, man. Like I don't like you got like so many series like that branches off of another, that branches off of another, that branches off of another. I like at one point when I was like trying to like read more, I literally looked at Star Wars books and I didn't realize how many Star Wars books there were. Man.
Dude, there's
like,
so
there are
many.
a pretty good amount of books. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, I don't know where to start, what to choose. I'm sitting here Googling like the coolest Star Wars story, and apparently all of them are fucking cool. So I was like, all right, well, you know what? I don't know where to go here. So I don't know, man. Star Wars is overwhelming. It's always been overwhelming to me because there's so much of it, and you just don't know where to start. You just know all the mainstream stuff, like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, like you know all the mainstream, and you don't know all like the side characters that actually have very good stories. Now, will I look like I would never look at Rebels? I tried to look at Clone Wars. I got past like 4 or 5 episodes, and I was like, can't do it because there's so much content, you know. So I literally Googled all the cool shit, and I YouTubed all the cool like lightsaber fights, and I was like, I'm done. That's all I needed. So
I love you.
Yeah.
So you Googled all the cool shit.
yeah, that's all I could do, dog. That's all I could do for it.
It is a lot. You're right. And it's interesting to me because I grew up watching the original 3, and that was all there was, right? So and then like when I was however old, Phantom Menace came out, and people like shit on that movie all the time. But I was the perfect age. I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
I loved the Phantom Menace. I'll still go back and watch it. I don't care. Thought the Clone Wars was good. It was a little bit too long, but it had some really cool battles in it. And then the Revenge of the Sith came around. I was like, oh, wow, this is really good. And it all kind of got completed it for me. And then there wasn't anything for like a long time. There was the Clone Wars. Well, there was actually 2 Clone Wars shows. There was the animated one, and then there was that
Anime style.
other
Yeah.
anime style that was very short but really, really good on Cartoon Network. So like that was the last thing that I really watched. And then they were like doing all the doing stuff building up to it, and then the new movies came out, and the new movies didn't really blow me away. The first of the new movies was fun. I enjoyed it, but after that I was just like whatever. And now they're just doing so much that I'm like, Ryan, it's like, dude, I don't even know where to start. Like I'm sure it's all good if I were to stay in the universe and keep up with it and get into the lore and everything, but bro, I don't have the time. There's just
No time for
so
it.
much that they're
So
putting out.
much.
And I see Disney's strategy here. We're living in an age now where like if you make something really good, you can't just coast on that anymore. It's like they made the original 3 Star Wars movies and they were so good, and they just coasted on that forever. They made the Indiana Jones movies, they coasted on those forever because there just wasn't as much content coming out. And nowadays there's just so much that the only way to stay relevant, especially with like the younger generation, is to keep making more. It's the same thing as like TikTok and Instagram. Like you can't just make one video and be internet famous. You have to make one every week. You have to keep getting those followers. You have to keep growing. So like I see what they're doing here, but it's too much for me as like a 32-year-old man to keep up with a full-time job to keep up with. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't hold it against them. I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm sure I would enjoy the shows if I watched it, but it is just a lot.
It's interesting you say that because as a 32-year-old man, I have kept up
no
with
offense,
everything.
No offense. I didn't mean that.
every TV show, every movie, like every animated series, I've watched it all. Because I'm a huge just Star Wars fan. So I've definitely kept up with it, but it is overwhelming, and I think the overwhelming part of it is trying to keep up with that, and then trying to keep up with everything Marvel's doing, and trying to keep up with everything
Oh my
DC's
god,
doing.
dude.
Like, yeah, and somehow
That's
I've
why you
managed.
watch it on 1.5 times speed.
Exactly.
Somehow, right? I
Exactly.
swear.
Because otherwise I wouldn't be able to consume all the content. But Ryan, I will tell you, I'm not going to say don't waste your time with the books, because a lot of people love the books and there's a lot of lore in there, but Disney basically said that it's not canon. So it's
Yeah.
not really relevant to what's going on in their story. Nick, I'm like you. Actually, 1, 2, and 3, which are not the original movies. The originals are 4, 5, and 6. I saw 1, 2, and 3 first. So my standards were very high from like a CGI standpoint. Like, the best thing about 1, 2, and 3 are the lightsaber duels. Like, I mean, it's just all 3 of those movies have some of the best action sequences, and I have yet to be that impressed since, right? Because of course 4, 5, and 6 came out way before that. So, and I went into that expecting like I'm not going to see like anything like super crazy. I was disappointed in 7, 8, and 9 because I felt like the lightsaber duels in that were lackluster. And I was like, man, you had all this cool shit, Obi-Wan and fucking Anakin spinning their lightsabers around and hitting each other and stuff. And I was like, they didn't give us like barely any of that in the new movies. So I'm hopeful that, I do think Disney has listened to people in terms of like, man, these movies like really sucked. And I'm hoping that these next movies are going to be really, really good. And so that leads me to my last question on this topic, but what would you like to see from Star Wars? So like, if you could pick any era, any story that you would want to be fleshed out more, like what would you want to see? And would you want it to be a movie? Would you want it to be a game? Would you want it to be a TV series? Like, I'm just curious as to like, if you could pick what you would want to like Star Wars to like focus on next, like what would it be?
You want to take that one first, Nick?
That's a good question, dude. I'm trying to think because
Well, I
like
can
my
go-
mind initially goes to the Clone Wars, but
Okay.
they already did that. I just haven't watched it.
I mean, there's a lot. There would be a lot to like unpack in the Clone Wars, honestly. So like, I'm with that. While you guys think about it, I know for me personally, I don't care what story they do. Not relevant to me right now. Like, this is me if I get to pick. I just want the most badass, like, lightsaber dueling movie that you could really. I want 2
That's all
hours.
Disney cares about
I
is
want
lightsaber
2
fights,
hours
bro.
of people like going at it with these lightsabers. I want people throwing them and force catching one of them and throwing it back to each other. Like, I just want like a John Wick like lightsaber. It doesn't even have to be canon. They could be like, this movie has nothing to do with the actual story of Star Wars, but give me 2 hours of nonstop action with lightsaber duels, because I'm tired of them teasing us with all of this bullshit that they tease us with in 7, 8, 9. So that would be my personal choice. Whatever story you want to do, fine. You could do a story that like, I don't know, focuses on like the creation of the first lightsabers and like, I don't know, the war that broke out between the Jedi and Sith because of it, whatever. But just like, give me some awesome action sequences that will like stand out. You know, when you talk about like, what's the best kill in a John Wick movie? I want to be like, what was the best freaking action sequence or kill with like within this like lightsaber duel movie? So that's my personal preference for what I would like to see.
First,
I
wait,
like that.
before you go, Nick, I'm sorry. Could you
Okay.
imagine John Wick in Star Wars?
Dude, I saw somebody do that on the internet. You know that
For
like,
real?
simulator? Have you seen those videos where you can run a simulator of like 1,000 of these, 1,000 samurai versus 3,000
Yes.
I remember
knights or
that,
something?
yes.
Somebody did so many John Wicks versus so many Jedis.
Really? I'm gonna need to watch
Yeah.
that.
I need to watch that.
I won't tell you who won. Go look it
Okay.
up, but it's spectacular. But I'm with you, Justin. I don't really care as much. I like the big battles. Like fucking the best. My favorite part of all the Star Wars movies, like shows and side stuff aside, is that fight on Geonosis.
Yes.
That starts off as like the Jedi having that badass fight in the arena, and then just fucking escalates like out of control.
It
to
starts
that
the
giant
Clone
battle.
Wars.
They're dropping like walkers and
Yeah.
they got rockets, and the drop ships are trying to like. That was so cool to me, just
Yeah.
seeing that big, massive battle on a scale. So anything they do like that, I'm sick of the whole like, oh, like me and 2 people are gonna go sneak into this thing
Yeah.
and blow up a reactor and kill this big mega weapon. Like, no, like I want to see fucking a huge battle. That's what I like.
So
seeing.
Nick wants Battlefront, the movie, basically.
yes,
That'd be
yes,
awesome. I'm
do
not
that.
gonna lie.
Virtually, that's it.
That's
Do
a
that.
really good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that. I would totally go see that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Ryan, what you got?
You know what? It's funny. That was like the first time. That probably wasn't the very first time, but that was the first time I saw something that was meaningful. That Battle of Geonosis. Mace Windu cuts off. Was it Jango Fett's head or was it Boba? Was that Boba Fett? Or was that
Django, the dad. Yeah.
Jango Fett.
Whichever one's
Yeah,
the
the
dad. I
da-
think it's Django.
Yeah, the older one.
Yeah. Well, when I saw his head cut off, and then you look at his kid, and it's like, damn, you really killed that motherfucker in front of his kid, bro. And not even
dude.
like, oh, I stabbed him. No, you cut the motherfucker head off, bro. You decapitated. That's raw as shit, bro.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
raw,
but you
bro.
my dog,
Yeah.
though. Like you say, you got that dog in you, big dog. Like I can't believe that. Like, boy, you raw, boy. Damn, you raw to the T-bone steak, my G. But damn, have at it, bro.
Okay, Ryan.
Bring
Sounds
Sam
like you.
Jackson back. That's what I want to see.
Ryan, I was about to
Bring
say,
Sam
sounds like
Jackson
Ryan
back.
wants like a Mace Windu like backstory. I mean, I would be
Dude,
totally for
no,
that
I
shit.
really
too,
do,
honestly.
bro.
That would
Like
be
I would be all for that. We could combine all of our movies, right? We could do like the Mace Windu story and how it leads into this like big ass like war between some people, and then it's just him being John Wick on everybody, just cutting people's heads off with lightsabers. Like
He's John Wick.
just put all three of our ideas together in one movie. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Long story though, like I'll make it short because I know we gotta get to the next topic. I really want them to hit back, and I think they're going to halfway on the Knights of the Old Republic remake that it's supposed to be doing. But one game, one of my first MMOs was the Old Republic. And I really enjoyed the Old Republic. I just had like a shitty laptop at the time to run it, so I had to run everything on low quality. But if that game like somehow or another like got popular again, or they made like an Old Republic 2, I would get it. I promise you I would get it. If they brought it to console, I would get it. That game was fun. And the Knights of the Old Republic was fun. You really got to make your own character. You didn't get like a lightsaber or anything, but you eventually did. Like at the beginning, you have like a sword or whatnot, but or a blaster or whatever you wanted to do. But you could literally choose, like you made decisions, and your decisions like basically put you in the light side or the dark side. And I thought like those type of games, like where your decisions matter, like from the very beginning, I thought those types of games was like sick. That was like next gen stuff. Like it was so before its time, and now it's like amazing.
It was definitely
it's like
before its
Telltale stories now. So
Yeah.
I wish they would like get back on the games.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds like we need to submit some proposals to Disney because we got ideas for like some shit that would like set it off in the Star Wars universe. So
For days.
But we shall see. A ton of content coming out from Star Wars. So I know we have some Star Wars fans in the chat. So let's see what we got.
Oh yeah, big time. So E. Connor says Star Wars fell off with the last 3 movies. I hope they get this story right because the plot sounds great.
Yep.
I agree. Well, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. KO Megablade said, good point, Nick. Not sure what he was referring to, but I'm just glad that he agreed with me on something for once. So
Or a
bonus
change.
points there. Yeah, right. Despair asked what made the game such a successful one. I'm assuming that she was referring to Fallen Order.
They did a phenomenal job of not making a hack and slash lightsaber game. And that was what was like great for me. Like it actually was very complex, the like combat mechanics, and depending on what type of enemy you were fighting, depending on what type of fighting style you had to use, what moves you could use to beat these enemies. And you know, I remember like as great as those games were when they came out, I'm thinking of like The Force Unleashed and The Force Unleashed 2.
Yes.
They were great, but they were hack and slashes, and I think we are past a hack and slash time in our lives. And then the story was awesome. Like they got like some really good actors to play like the actual main characters in the video game. Had a really good story. Darth Vader makes an appearance, and bro, it is bad fucking ass, bro. Like I mean, it's like scary as shit like when he shows up in the game. So there was just like a ton of good stuff that they did, and I'm super excited for the second game.
Yep. KO Megablade says he needs a crossover with Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that would be incredible. I
that'd
think
be
that would be
dope.
an absolutely phenomenal movie. I don't know if they would do it, but I'd be all for it.
Dude, I'm all for like just crossovers of like all different types of genres. Like,
Yeah.
just give me anything. It doesn't have to be canon. Doesn't have to be any overarching story. Maybe, I don't know, the Guardians of the Galaxy are having a dream after they just got done watching a Star Wars movie, and it's a movie about them fighting alongside the Star Wars people. I am totally for that. I also would love to see Star Wars and Star Trek crossover, because I am a big fan of both series, and I know there are people who are, you're either a Trekkie or you're a Star Wars fan. So I think it would be cool to do a crossover between those two. But I would say everybody in Star Wars would absolutely slay everybody in Star Trek, because Star Trek is like a little bit based in more realism, as real as it can be when you're talking about space and stuff like that. But Star Wars, absolutely not. Like, any Jedi would be able to just wipe the floor with anybody in Star Trek. So, personal opinion, hot take there. So. All right. So Nick, you are up. You want to give us a review on, drum roll, The Northman. Let's talk about it.
Bum, 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 bum. The Northman. All right, I'm gonna give this as an unspoiled review because I kind of did this for the moment over the weekend. Justin has seen it, but it's been a while, and I don't think Ryan's seen it. So I will do this as an unspoiled review. But basically, The Northman is a Viking movie. Director is Robert Eggers. So if you're familiar with The Lighthouse, The Witch, or The Vivitch, however it's pronounced, brothers. He's had like not a ton of big movies, but the ones he has made are really, really good. He's got like a little bit of a theme. They're kind of dark, but just really, really good, solid movies. So I was excited for this one. Stars Alexander Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy. I think probably a couple other people that I recognize,
Ethan
but I
Hawke's
couldn't
in
remember
it?
the name for. So pretty star-studded cast. But I will steal Justin's style here and rate each section differently. So start off with the plot. I gave the plot a grade A. It is a very, very good plot. It's not all that original. It's your classic revenge story. I won't spoil too much, but if you go watch the trailer, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It is on Amazon streaming, by the way, streaming on Amazon Prime. It's an engaging story. It keeps you interested. It's well paced. It's never boring. There's not really any boring moments, but it's also not rushed at the same time. Struck a good balance there, and it builds up very, very well to the climactic fight at the end. There are some times where it makes some jumps ahead in the timeline, a little bit too much, a little bit too far for my taste, but there's a pretty significant plot twist towards the end of the movie that I think more than makes up for that. And you will not see it coming, or at least I didn't. So plot was very good. You're not going to find it bored. It's a little over 2 hours. And for reference, like watched it with my parents this weekend. I'd already seen it once, but they wanted to see it. So I watched it again. My mom cannot sit through a movie. She can't sit down for more than like 30, 45 minutes. She just gets antsy and gets up. She sat for the whole 2 hours of this movie. She was locked in. Moving on to the acting. So I mentioned the star-studded cast. Acting is A++, like absolutely incredible. Flawless performances by Alexander Skarsgård, who, I mean, just his last name alone, you can tell that he probably was a Viking. He looks like a Viking. He acts like a Viking. He was literally born to play this role. And he absolutely knocked it out of the park. So he can be really, really cold and brutal, but also really relatable at times. Kind of a John Wick type character, just totally unstoppable, hell bent on his revenge. He knows what he wants, and absolutely nothing is going to get in his way to do that. Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy also played their supporting roles perfectly. Willem Dafoe. He's his own brand of crazy. Fits perfectly in this movie. He plays like a shaman jester type character that like pops in and out throughout the movie, and every time he does, you're just like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Love that guy. Finally, the best part is the action. Gave the action an A+ as well. If I could sum up this movie in one word, it would be brutal. This is a pretty unflinching look at the way that people conducted warfare back during those times. Doesn't hold back on violence against not only men but women and children, and just the things that people would do to each other was pretty hard to watch at times. It was just a brutal time to be alive, and I think they portrayed that pretty well. It's not excessive, so I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call this an action movie per se, but it's used well. So it's used in the right amount at the right times. It places emphasis on things, puts an exclamation mark on things. But there's also a healthy amount of plot development, drama, and stuff that goes along with it as well. And then building up to the final battle, very reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith battle on what's the lava
The
planet?
volcano
where-
planet.
Can't
I don't
remember.
remember. I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking
It
about.
starts with an M. It
Yeah.
starts with an M. Either way, check the movie out. Like I said, streaming on Amazon Prime. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've watched it twice. I'll probably end up watching it again. Very much a sleeper movie because I feel like no one's really talking about it right now. But
What
Yeah.
what overall grade do you give it?
A plus
Okay,
overall. A plus.
cool. So
Any little plot holes that I could poke in it if I really wanted to were just like more than made up for by the acting and the action.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 90% tomato meter score, reviews by critics, and then it has 64% audience score. So I think you're kind of in alignment with, the critics. It's funny because I think I'm more aligned with the audience. Now, I do need to see it again because it's been a while. I think I saw it when it first came out. I did enjoy the action. I think I 100% agree with you there. I'm a big action guy. Like, if you got good action sequences, I'm going to enjoy the movie. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Like you said, it is very brutal. I don't remember the plot all that much because I feel like it wasn't that great. It kind of felt like it was all over the place at times. I don't even remember Willem Dafoe being in the movie. So that was like, you're blowing my mind with that. And then you're talking about like a plot twist. And I was like, I don't really remember the plot twist. So like, I need to go back and watch it because again, it has been a while. So I'm not saying that the plot isn't good. I just don't remember it being that memorable. But I do agree with you on the acting was great. And then the action sequences were fantastic. So I am going to go check it out again just to refresh my memory. But yeah.
No, that's fair. It's nothing, like I said, the plot's nothing original. It's not the most unpredictable thing in the world. I'll also say this. I've always been partial to just Viking and Norse stuff in general. So I may be a little bit biased here in that they did this really well and I was just happy about that. But I noticed that when I was watching it with my parents, they had a hard time keeping up with all the names. So like watch this with subtitles because you will need to keep track of the names and you will need to know when they're talking about certain people. And the way that they talk in the movie is almost like it's almost like reading an old book. Like remember it being in like school and you would be reading like Beowulf or something and they would be going on in like poetic ways and like the way they would talk would be a little bit like disjointed in the way they like structure their sentences and stuff like that. It was kind of like that. And I noticed that like I didn't struggle with it, but I noticed that my parents did a little bit. And I was like, no, like that's this guy's brother, or no, that was the guy from back at the beginning of the movie. So like maybe that was hit. Definitely watch it with subtitles and pay attention to names and should be fine.
Cool. Thank you for that spoiler or unspoiled movie review. Do
Unspoiled,
apologize
spoiled.
to everyone in the chat. I know we usually put up a picture of the movie we're talking about and then actually give you a visual of the grades. Due to us just being all over the place Easter weekend, we did not get a chance to do that. But future movie reviews will, of course, have that. So, Ryan, you are up, big dog. What you want to talk about?
I'm gonna be honest with you. This has to be pretty short and sweet.
Okay.
So there is a new MMO coming out. It's called A Perfect New World. Nick, if you can play the trailer for me right quick.
Oh,
alrighty.
By the way, the trailer is actually badass. And I think you would actually play an MMO for the first time when this comes out. If it gets better reviews, because I'll talk about it. I'll ping on it a little bit later. But apparently the old game, which was called Perfect World, was good for like a year or two, and then all of a sudden you had to like pay to win, and not a lot of people like that.
Classic. Classic.
Yep.
Love pay-per-view games.
So-
They're my favorite. I'm assuming you were talking to me when you said you might actually play an MMO.
My bad. I thought I said Jay. Maybe I
So,
did.
I
and
don't
my
know if you
shit
did or
started.
didn't, but yeah, I figured you were talking to me. So, but yeah,
got
let's
you.
go ahead and check out the trailer. Ah,
oh, what did I
a
do?
good old ad.
Oh,
Good
I think
old
I skipped the.
ads.
I actually skipped to another video. Maybe.
No worries. Oh, love that big ass sword my man has.
Whoa. That looks cool. Okay, we got some wall running. Oh.
All right.
All right.
So I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I am curious as to how it's going to play. I used to play Fantasy Star Online. It was like episode 1 and 2, which was like on the GameCube. Um, I played Fantasy Star Universe, and it was kind of basically a hack and slash. The big problem with Fantasy Star Online was the fact that you can dupe what they used to call basically any weapon, any armor that you wanted. It was basically just a big glitch. So, like, if you wanted the best weapon on the game, you can glitch it and you will have it, stats and all. So basically, you could just cheat your way through the game. Some of the comments that I was reading, a lot of them were saying like the original one, so Perfect World, basically turned into a pay to win, which I mean, which is horrible. And that's about. I'm not gonna say it's about any game now, but I mean, think
Most
about it. That
MMOs.
can spoil a lot. Yes, most MMOs. Yes, that's why I stick so loyal to Final Fantasy. I don't mean to take a side, but Final Fantasy, there is no pay to win. Now, you do need to meet people, so you better be like, extrovert on the game because you need to meet those people that take the time to grind like those big ass weapons and shit. So you can do like a dungeon or you could do a trial that's like extreme, but it gets you the highest item level. Even though in about a few months when the next big update comes out, that item level isn't going to mean shit. So, but I mean, I'm excited for this one. I'm curious as if like you guys will play MMO like that if it did come out, and if I actually do get a gaming computer or laptop, like, is that something you guys will try with me, stuff like that?
If you get a gaming computer, I'll play with you, dog.
I'm looking at Justin in particular, actually.
I mean,
'cause-
you know me hell, I'm down to play any game. I'll try it at least once, and if I don't like it, then I'll let you know and I won't play it. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, there were some cool parts of the trailer, but nothing was like super wow to me. Like, I mean, it just seemed like I don't know. For MMOs, like my thought is like always like I imagine like World of Warcraft and like all these like people in a party like raiding together and like battling. They showed like 10 seconds of what was like I think 3 people like fighting together. The rest was like one-on-one fight. So I thought that was an interesting way to do an MMO trailer. But I mean, some of the like fight sequences look pretty cool. It looks like you can do some cool things in the game. So, but of course, if my boys are getting it, I'm gonna get it. Like I just enjoy playing games with you guys. So, I'd be down to try it like for sure.
Yeah,
Ryan, I
visually
do.
looks cool.
Oh yeah, I do want to make a comment though, because you said Final Fantasy is not pay to win, but I do recall, don't you have to pay like a monthly subscription to like play your Final Fantasy
That's
game?
what I mean, though. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's not pay to win though.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
alright.
not.
I mean,
that's
you
pay
gotta
to,
pay to
no,
play.
it's not even pay to play.
play.
Well, it's not
Pay to
technically,
play.
yeah, but
And hey, I will take that over pay to win. If
Yeah,
you
no,
want to
no,
tell
I
me
know
I got
there's
to
a
pay up
difference.
front for a game and I got to pay a monthly subscription, but there is nothing that I can buy that's going to put me ahead,
Yeah,
I'm in.
No,
Because
I
I
agree.
just re-downloaded Hearthstone for the first time in like 5 years, and bro, if you don't pay money in that game, you are fucked.
Yeah, well,
And
I'm
the
sure you
card packs
deleted
are
it.
like 40, 50, 70 bucks. I'm looking through here. I've got these old like decks that I built that I was like I used to just like run shit on people, and I'm like getting my ass kicked every time I try. I haven't won a match yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
No, I know
It's
there's a difference. I was
ridiculous.
just giving them a hard time, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you guys. Like pay to win, and microtransactions, like all of that stupid stuff. It's just like, bro, like y'all gotta stop. So, Cool, good stuff. Well, I'm sure there'll be more content released for this game, but it sounds like we may be gearing up to play an MMO, which I think would be pretty cool if we all play together, we level up together. Sounds fun to me. I'm sure I'll be, interested in playing it with you guys. So, anything in the chat? I know we didn't pause, Nick. I apologize after your Northman review. So, if anybody chatted about that, feel free to share as well.
No, not really. I mean, Despair says Willem Dafoe. Which
Willem
is
Dafoe.
a joke from How I Met Your Mother. If anyone's a fan of that show, there's a reference. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think a whole lot of people have seen it. Like I said, it's kind of a sleeper. Like I think it dropped. Did it go to theaters or did it drop directly on Amazon?
I want to say I think it went to like Voodoo first, and I want to say I remember the director coming out and talking about people didn't really go see it, and he was like disappointed in that or something like that. Like it didn't get as good of like a initial push, and I don't remember. I don't recall seeing too many like trailers and promotions for it. I do remember seeing one, but not a lot. So that probably had something to do with it too.
I think so. Yeah. I just don't think a lot of people have seen it, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can watch it together. So cool. Alrighty. Well, actually, right on time. It is 9:30, so we will go ahead and close out the show. Appreciate everybody coming out today. Don't forget to hit that follow button on Twitch if you haven't done so already, because you never want to miss one of our live shows. We air every Monday at 8:30. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Handle for both is at Spoiler Alert for you. Again, that's at Spoiler Alert, the number 4 and the number U, the letter U. Excuse me. We will be pausing. Almost got it this time. We will be pausing the stream after we end because we are actually going to gear up and play some Rainbow Six Siege for a little bit. We finally have enough people for us to have a full squad, so I'm excited for that tonight. We don't have to worry about playing with any random. So if you want to stick around and watch us rage a little bit on video games, feel free. But outside of that, if we spoiled something for you today, sorry, not sorry, because we're just talking about the things we love. And spoiler alert, we do love all of you, and we will see you next week.
Peace out.